Hello, Nar from Nar Sounds here. Today I'm going to recreate the intro pattern to Ain't Nobody by Shaka Khan. So this pattern is a 9-step pattern, and what I'm going to do is, instead of using the traditional arpeggiator or pattern sequencer, I'm going to use the cycle feature of the XA control found in the part. So what's going to happen is each of the notes within the pattern get played by a single element. And each of those notes cycle through as you play each key, or it gets triggered by a generic arpeggiator. I've got an init normal performance, and I'm going to press part 1 and press edit. So this gets us to the common section. So you can see it's common part 1. I'm going to go to element setting. So this pattern is 9 steps, and these are the notes, right? I'll count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So since it has 9 steps, we have to change the number of elements to play them from 8, which is the default, to 9. So I'm going to go here, element settings, EX element switch, turn that on. We're going to expand the normal 8 element count to 9. There you go. Change that to 9. It actually goes up to 128. And by default, it's set to 8. Okay, so we've done that. That's the common section. And I'm going to go to element 1, which is going to be the first note in our sequence. And the first thing we need to do is change XA control from normal to cycle. And that way, whenever you play a key, it cycles through the different elements that have the same setting and that belong to the same element group. So we have that. It's set to cycle. I only have one element that's activated so far. I'm going to change the sound from a piano waveform, that's CFX V6, that's the default waveform. I'm going to change that to a synth waveform. Go to synth lead and choose a saw wave. Saw, there you go. So it actually sounds like the intro pattern and not sound like a piano. Okay, so we're getting close. We're going to change the filter settings, make it a bit darker. It's not as bright, so my favorite is the LPF24A. Turn down the cutoff frequency. And I'm going to change the amp EG as well. Go to amplitude and go to amp EG. And let's turn down the decay values. I can use this as well. Turn down the decay values. Touch this. This is the decay time. I'm going to increase that a bit. And I'm going to increase the release time a bit. Okay, so that's close enough, I think. So what I want to do now is change the center key of the keyboard from C3 to the first note of my pattern, which is a D#1, this one. And to do that, I select center key, press this keyboard button, or I can just press enter as well and play this key and see what happens here. The C3 becomes a D#1. And aside from doing that center key, I want to change the pitch key or the pitch curve from 100% to 0. And what that will do is have every note on my keyboard play the same note. So no matter what note I play, it's actually a D#1. So every succeeding step will be a transposed version of D#1. And what I'm going to do now is just copy all these settings from element 1 into element 2 to 9. So on the screen, I have the pitch course values of all the notes in this pattern. And that first one is a 0, which is this element 1. So I'm going to copy element 1 into element 2, shift, edit, copy element 1 to element 2. There you go. Make sure I'm in element 2 and change course tuning to 7, which is the next one. So we started on the D#, and 7 semitones up from D# is this note, which is the next one. So now that's done, let's press shift and edit and copy element 2 to element 3. And I'll be doing this 8 times. So element 2 to element 3, copy, make sure I'm in element 3, and the next course tuning is 10. Change that to 10, and once that's done, I'm going to copy element 3 to element 4. Copy. And now element 4, I'm going to choose that and change course tuning to 12. Now element 4 to element 5, both values are 12, so I'm just going to press Shift, Edit, copy 4 to 5, and that's done. Go to element 5, copy element 5 to element 6, element 5, element 6, copy. So I have to make sure that I'm on element 6 and change course tuning to 19. There you go. And element 6 to 7, copy 6 to 7. There you go. Change that to element 7. Course tuning is going to be 22. And Shift, Edit, 7 to 8, copy. Make sure we're in element 8. And course tuning is going to be 24. One more to go, element 8 to 9, Shift, Edit, copy 8 to 9. There you go. And course tuning is an octave above 24, which is 36. Make sure this is 9 as well. So it's easy to make the mistake of remaining in the same element, because whenever you copy, it reverts back to the previous element where you copied from, not where you copied to. So make sure you change the element whenever you do this. So element 9 will change course tuning to 36. And now if I play any note on the keyboard, it will do that cycle function. So it doesn't matter what I play, because as far as the keyboard is concerned, every note I play is identical. They're D1, but the tuning of each element has changed. From here, I can simply turn on the arpeggiator and I'll get that pattern. So by default, the init normal arpeggio, so if I go to init normal, press part, press edit, and I'll go to common. So right now I'm in element 9, go back to common. Let's go back up in common. We'll go to the arpeggio section, and if you go to individual, it has a generic 1/16 up and down arpeggio. And if I turn that arp on, it'll cycle through the pattern that we created. And it doesn't matter which note I play. It's all the same. I'm just going to adjust the tempo. So I just touch the tempo and let's adjust that. I didn't take note of the real tempo, but it's not that fast, I'm sure. There you go. And there we have it. And what I can do as well is hold that arpeggio so that I don't have to press that down. So I go to the part, edit, arpeggio, arpeggio common, and there is a hold on over there. So turn that on and just touch it. And you can see that elements 1 to 8 are lighting up, and you don't see element 9 because it's not in this display, but there is a 9th step. So practical application, I guess, is when you're playing live. Sometimes your drummer might not be able to follow the tempo strictly, and you might want to play this manually to follow the drummer instead of the drummer following the tempo. So that's possible as well. What I can do as well is change the settings up here. So I can go to the filter page and play around with a cutoff. So as that plays back, I can just play around with this. Or shut that off and just play along to it using any key. And there you go. That's how to create the Ain't No Body intro pattern using the cycle feature of the Montage M. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you. Bye.